In this lesson, we will cover chapters 4 and 5 of the book of Ezra. Ezra, a prophet, led the house of Judah, Benjamites, and Levites taken into captivity into Babylon back to the Promised Land. They are, of course, not given their land. They will be a province of Persia, and it was Cyrus, the king of Persia, who gave freely and collected freely for them to have goods and money, and also gave them the items that had been taken from the temple. At the conclusion of 3, they have built the burnt offering, offered sacrifice, and celebrated the Feast of Trumps on the first of the 7th month, the Feast of Tabernacles, and then a 7-day feast, and then a feast day thereafter. And the foundation was laid, and they shouted so loudly that adversaries heard them. Ezra, by the way, is the supposed author of this book of Nehemiah and Esther, and because the very last verses of 2nd Chronicles mimic almost verbatim the opening of Ezra, it is thought that he wrote that. Esdras, 2 books in the Apocrypha, are accredited to Ezra as well. Chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, 2, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as you do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. And of course, Samaria, the Samaritans, we learn in Kings, some of them are from Hamath, and that ought to ring a bell. They are Kenites. They are offspring of Cain. The Samaritans worshipped Molech. They sacrificed children. They are a very mixed bag of people and gods. And this Esarhaddon, he is the son of Nebuchadnezzar. And this would be hard for the Samaritans to pass on, and here they are offering free labor to help build the temple. 3, but Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build a house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us. Now, when they counted up the priests, they found that some 392 of them were Nethinim. We learned back in an earlier book that when Israel, the Promised Land, was being settled, some Nethinim who were very close by pretended that they had come a long distance. They managed to make their clothes look worn out and their shoes, and they said, We'll work. And they worked for the priests. They hauled water, which would have been quite an undertaking, as that brazen sea would have been like a swimming pool, small swimming pool, and of course much wood to be chopped and by the into First Chronicles, they were scribes, and then they worked themselves in to be priests. These priests became quite lazy, and they allowed these folks to take over priestial duties. Zerubbabel, of course, is one of the persons who is in the forefront of leading this, and his name means born in Babel. Verse 3. But Zerubbabel and Yeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers, and we did that, and it said unto them that we will build our own temple. And the chief of the fathers, those would have been heads of families. And Cyrus had commanded that they go back and they build this temple, and at that time Cyrus was the most powerful person on earth. 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. So they deprived them of courage, they deprived them of strength, and derided them. 5. And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus the king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius the king of Persia. That would have been a 15-year long of holding up the construction of this temple. 6. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. Now they, that would have been these Samaritans, and they are accusers. This Ahasuerus that's what we call an appellation. It is like what we use the word Pharaoh for all the kings of Egypt, and this simply means a vulnerable king. So it is just a word that, an appellative, as I said, standing for not a particular king, but used in the same way the Egyptians used Pharaoh. 7. And in the days of Artaxerxes wrote Bisham, Muadah, and Tabai, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes the king of Persia, and the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. Now this from the letter, of course, would have been, this manuscript would have been in the Chaldee language, and this letter is to change the mind of King Cyrus. 8. Rehum the chancellor and Shimashai the scribe wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes the king in this sort. So this would have been what they wrote as we proceed further. 9. Then wrote Barhum the chancellor, and we did that, the scribe and the rest of their companions, the Danites, the Apharsites, and the Tarphites, the Apharsites, and Archivites, and the Babylonians, the Sushanites, and the Dehavites, and the Elamites. The Elamites would have been of Persia, and the Susanshavites would have been from the city of Susan, and these are the persons who are going to gather and write. Danites, that is a persons who live in a particular city in Persia. 10. And the rest of the nations, whom the great and noble Asnapher brought over and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side of the river, and at such a time. And this would have been only a Syrian king to get to Elam and to hold Shushan, and he would be moving people into Samaria and the cities of Samaria. So you see, Samaria contained those persons who had been left after the captivity to Assyria, and all of these persons who will be coming in. So you will see that Samaria is not representative of Israel, those tribes to the north, but is a mixed group containing a few who were left and all of these persons who were transported into Samaria. If you think about the woman at the well who was a Samaritan, she said, "We worship on Mount Gerizim," and they did. And not only did they worship there, but they rewrote the first 5 books, the Pentateuch, the books of Moses. So you can see that this is Samaria has become very different. The Samaria began at the time of the return of Judah, Benjamin, and some Levites to Jerusalem and Judah. And the river mentioned there, that would have been the Euphrates, of course. 11. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even into Artaxerxes the king. Thy servants and the men on this side of the river, and at such a time. And that would have been on the west side of the Euphrates. And they are very afraid that Judah will gain strength and will take over the north, and they are attempting to stop this building of this temple. 12. Be it known unto the king that the Jews, or Judah, which came up from thee unto us, were coming to Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundation. Now there are some who say that Nehemiah, E.W. Bullinger is one of those scholars, that Nehemiah came first because it says here that the wall was set up. But others say that the wall was not there until it was the temple was built first, because there will be verses that will substantiate that this was not the case. 13. Be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll tribute and custom, so thou shalt endamerage the revenue of the kings. So if they get this wall up, and the important wall would have been on the north side of Jerusalem, because the terrain was flat and it would have been easily accessed. The other sides were mountainous and not so difficult to defend. So he is saying if they are able to defend themselves, you won't be getting any revenue, any tribute. 14. Now, because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore we have sent and certified the king. So the reason for notifying the king's palace is called the Salt Palace, or Salt in Syriac. And the salt, of course, was a very valuable item in this time period and in this part of the world. So they are saying, do you want to lose this value? 15. That search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers, so thou shalt find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. So you will find out if you get back and look in the records, and you will see that David and Solomon, when they ruled this city, were powerful, the most powerful in the world. And if this building takes place, why, they will become powerful again. We certify the king that if this city be builded again, and the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river. They will take out everything, and this would have been, of course, on the east and west side of the Euphrates. So the argument is, if they fortify and build up this city, they will be powerful, and you will lose money. 17. Then sent the king an answer unto Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of the companions that dwelt in Samaria, and to the rest beyond the river, peace, and at such a time. So this is who wrote the letter. Answer is going to be a Persian decree. 18. The letter which you sent unto hath been plainly read before me. So the king of Persia has read their letter. 19. And I commanded, and search hath been made, and it is found that this city of old time hath made insurrections against kings, and that rebellion and seditions have been made therein. Yes, he's checked it out, and it's true what you said. King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem for that reason. So we're going to see the project put on hold. 20. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them. Yes, indeed, beyond the Euphrates, Solomon and David collected tribute. Verse 21. Give you now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me. So the order is out from Cyrus, or the king of Persia: stop building. 22. Take heed now that you fail not to do this. Why should damage grow up the heart of the kings? Now we have a man king here trying to stop God. He does not want them to get power in Jerusalem. 23. Now the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum, Shimshai the scribe, and their companions. They went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them cease by force and power. And Artaxerxes, of course, is Cyrus, and they have been made to cease by armed reinforcement. 24 to complete chapter 4. Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem, so it ceased unto the second year of the reign of Darius, the king of Persia, and that would have been 15 years. And if the book of Ezra has a message, it is don't give up, stand. Chapter 5, book of Ezra. 1. Then the prophet Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, the son of Iddo, he would have been his grandson, not his son, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, even unto them. This is the first prophecy in 70 years since we've had this captivity. Let us go to Haggai, the very first chapter. Haggai. Excuse me, I should have marked my place. Haggai, very first chapter. Sorry for this delay. Okay, Haggai, way over close to further than I thought in the Bible. Okay, let's look at Haggai, the first chapter. In the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, on the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai, the prophet, unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedech, the high priest, saying, verse 2, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. This is contemptuous here, these people. And this would have been, it is by the correction of this time period, would have been 410 BC. If you take Bullinger's correction for the years where we had a king who served less than a year, but it was counted as a year. 3. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your called houses, sold houses, and this house lie waste? So is it time for you to having a sold house is a cedar paneled house, and he is saying, oh, well, you all have some really fine houses built and paneled in cedar, and why isn't the house of the Lord being built? 5. Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. In the Hebrew, consider your ways means set your heart on. Think about your conduct. 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. You eat and you have not enough. You drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, yet there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. You're never satisfied. You don't get enough. Your vineyards aren't producing. And think about it. 7. Thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Once again, think about it, set your heart on it. 8. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Mount Zion would be the location of the temple, and this is the maybe not as opulent as Solomon's. Solomon's was built of that cedars from Lebanon. 9. You looked for much, and lo, it came to little, and when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith the Lord of hosts? Because of mine house that is waste, and you run every man unto his own house. So you expect much, and you got very little. 10. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. And Deuteronomy 11 explains that latter and former and latter rain. So Leviticus 26 says that the drought can get so bad that the ground will be like brass. 11. And I call for a drought upon the land and upon the mountains, upon the corn, upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon man, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. There will be no food for you or your animals. 12. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua or Yeshua, and Ezra, the son of Joselech, the high priest, with all remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God hath sent him, and the people did fear before the Lord. 13. Then Spake Haggai, the Lord's messenger, in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. 14. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of the remnant of the people. And they came out and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God, in the 24th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king. So 23 days later, they got busy. Picking it up in Ezra chapter 5, verse 2. Then rose Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Yeshua the son of Jozadak, and began to build the house of God, which is in Jerusalem. With them were the prophets of God helping them. 3. At the same time came them Tatnai, he's an adversary, governor on this side of the river, and Shethar-boznai, and their companions, and said thus unto them, Who hath commanded you to build this house, and to make up this wall? 4. Then said we unto them after this manner, What are the names of the men that make this building? 5. But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, and they could not cause them to cease till the matter came to Darius, and then they returned answer by letter concerning this matter. So we have a divine intervention here, and it will not go well to stand against God. The copy of that letter that Tatnai, governor of this side of the river, and his companions, the Apharsachites, which were on this side of the river, sent unto Darius the king. 7. They sent a letter to him wherein was written thus unto Darius, the king of peace, and that in the Persian tongue is shalom, and it's very close to the Hebrew word shalom. 8. Be it known unto the king that we went into the province of Judea to the house of the great God, which is builded with great stones, and timber is laid on the walls, and this work goeth fast on, and prospereth in their hands. Yes, because God is with them. 9. Then asked ye those elders, and said unto them thus, Who commanded you to build this house, and to make up this wall? 10. We asked their name also, to certify thee, that we might write the names of the men that were the chief of them. 11. And thus they returned us answer, saying, We are the servants of God, of heaven and earth, and build the house that was builded these many years ago, which a great king of Israel builded and set up. 500 years since Solomon built. 12. And after that our fathers had provoked the God of heaven unto wrath, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, meaning confusion, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house and carried people away into Babylon. 13. But in the 1st year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon, the same King Cyrus made a decree to build this house of God. 14. And the vessels also of gold and silver of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple that was in Jerusalem, and brought them from in the temple of Babylon. These did Cyrus the king take out of the temples of Babylon, and they were delivered unto one whose name was Sheshbazzar, whom he had made governor. And that's a Sheshbazzar is a Persian name for Zerubbabel, who is the prophet and the person who is helping to build this temple. And said unto him, Take these vessels and carry them into the temple that is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be builded in this place. 16. Then came the same Sheshbazzar, Zerubbabel, and laid the foundation of the house of God, which is in Jerusalem, and since that time, even until now, hath it been in building, and yet is not finished. 17. Now therefore, if it seem good to the king, let there be search made in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether so that a decree was made by Cyrus the king to build this house of God at Jerusalem, and let the king send his pleasure to us concerning this matter. And yes, there was a decree by Cyrus to get the building of this temple, and it will come to Darius to search for this decree. And in Zechariah we do learn that Zerubbabel held the plumb bob for the temple walls, that they might be straight. This concludes this lesson of chapters 4 and 5 concerning the building of the temple after the Babylonian captivity and the destruction of the temple by Nebuchadnezzar. This video has been an outreach of the Crossroads United Methodist Church, the Crossroads Global Methodist Church, in Dexter, Missouri, and the Essex Methodist Church in Essex, Missouri.